Hi, my name is Jen, and I want to tell you a little bit about my Transform 30 story. First of all, my husband and I, we have four small children, and we live in the Midwest. Right now it's snowing about 10 inches outside of my window, so I thought this might be a good quiet afternoon to tell you a little bit about what Transform 30 has done for me and my experience with it so far. A few months ago, we moved a little ways south of where we'd lived for about 8 years. And during that time, during the packing and the moving, we were really busy, and I found myself very tired most of the time. And the only way that I could find enough energy to get by during those days was to drink a lot of caffeine. And I started to drink a ton of Diet Pop and also eat a lot of sweets because that would give me kind of a boost of energy for a short amount of time before I had to crash into bed at night and then start over again the next day. Once we got here, we ate out a lot because we hadn't gotten really settled and I hadn't gotten a meal plan, and so we weren't eating very well. And I noticed that even though it was summer, which is a time when usually more sunlight means more energy, I found that I was constantly feeling lethargic. I had no energy. It was hard to get up in the morning. Once I got up, I would have headaches until I drank my Diet Pop. And even then, throughout the day, they would continually come back. And I found myself struggling to be this put together, energetic mother for my children that I really needed to be because I needed to ease them through this transition and this life change. And I also felt that during this time, during these few months after we moved, that I gained back a lot of the baby weight that I had actually lost after I'd had my fourth child. And there was especially just a lack of nutrition in my diet. I was eating a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of dairy, but try as I might, I really couldn't find a way to incorporate a lot of fruits and vegetables into my diet. Uh, that affected the way that I fed my family too, and so I think we all uh, kind of suffered, I guess, from my struggle, my personal struggle with my weight and my energy level. A lot of times I would say, tomorrow I'm going to get up early, tomorrow I'm going to start exercising. I knew something needed to change, but I had no direction. I really had no way of knowing how to change, exactly what to change, or really how much time it would take me or what kind of an effort I would have to put into it in order to bring about some positive changes, better mood, weight loss, things that I was aiming for. Uh, about, I would say, 3 months ago, I saw a cousin of mine post on Facebook about a program she was doing called Transform 30. And I was sort of interested, but pretty skeptical at the same time because I tend to be naturally skeptical. When people say, I found this thing and it works for me and it helped me lose all this weight and get healthy, and I think, really? Are you sure? Can't you just eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables and, exercise every once in a while and drink some water, and that's really what's going to help? But really, I ultimately came to the conclusion that I'm not 20 years old anymore. I can't eat whatever I want and then swim it off in the college pool that night. As a busy mom of four, I didn't have a lot of time to dedicate to myself, and so I needed some guidance and I needed a challenge or a program that told me exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and what kind of results I could expect and why it worked. So I asked her about it and decided to go on this Transform 30 program. I wasn't sure what I was getting into. I was a little nervous about purchasing these complete shakes and capsules just packed with all these whole foods, but she assured me that this was going to help me get on the right track as far as my health and nutrition and my energy level as well. Uh, we need a lot of whole foods in our diet, and I wasn't getting them simply by consumption. I also knew that because we live in the Midwest and we're moving into the winter season, that a lot of those fresh fruits and vegetables aren't going to be readily available for me. And so I decided to go ahead and try it. When I hit the end of the 30 days, I noticed that I had lost about 6 pounds. I was a little bit disappointed because I had read some literature that said you could lose between 10 and 15 pounds. And so I think I kind of expected that's maybe what I would lose. And when it didn't happen, I struggled with that. Uh, but I decided, I feel better. Um, I have more energy. I'm more physically put together. My skin felt amazing. And I could actually go out in public with no makeup on and not feel like I was constantly breaking out all of the time. And so I decided to continue with the Transform program for another 2 weeks, brought my shakes back out, and started drinking 2 a day again. And I noticed that within that 5th week or that 6th week, that I lost another 2 pounds. And I had begun to incorporate some exercise into it, just some really light exercise, probably 3 times a week. And within 2 weeks, I'd noticed that I'd lost another 2 pounds. In just under 2 months, I have lost 11 pounds. I've lost several inches on my waist, but really that isn't even the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing for me is that I have energy. It's that I feel better. It's that I actually can get up and want to get up in the morning, and that I am not so cranky with my family anymore, and my children and my family are getting the best of me instead of just the leftovers that are being strung along by drinking tons of coffee or diet pop, which diet pop I also cut out of my diet. And so I think one of the biggest parts for me about Transform 30 is that it is a lasting change. It is not something that is just going to go by the wayside, but it's something that I can live with for the rest of my life. And yes, I do enjoy eating cheese sometimes, and I do enjoy eating bread, and I like to have ice cream. But I've realized now that these things can be parts of my life, but they don't have to be all of my life. They don't have to be all of my meals. And I really am finding myself craving fruits and vegetables. I enjoy eating them, which is very odd. I I feel like my family is being fed better because I feel better and I want to cook better for them. And so I found that Transform 30 wasn't really a Transform 30 for me, but it became sort of a Transform 60 and a Transform let's continue this through the rest of my life. And so that is what Transform 30 has done for me.